Hello, everybody. So, I am sitting here with 3 out of my 4 digital recorders in front of me. Yeah, I can show you. Let me just pull down my gooseneck here. So, yeah, so in front of me is my DP32. Over here on this table is, I'll flip it around, the 788. And on this table is the 2488. The Model 24 is behind me. You can't really see it. It's behind the drum set. It's packed away at the moment. I am exhausted. That's all I can tell you. I was on my way. My hair's a mess here. I was on my way to do a drum show for the Kaleidoscope Niagara Kaleidoscope Orchestra, and well, we got hit in a snowstorm, so they canceled today's show and tomorrow's show. So I came home a little stressed out. It wasn't rough out there. It wasn't the worst storm I have been in this year. The worst storm I've been in was after our rehearsal where I was in St. Catharines, and I got there and it was clear. And when we finished, I was driving on the highway, on our main highway, which is kind of like the I-90s and all that stuff in the States. And it was me and a guy behind me for the longest time. And this is a 4-lane highway, and I was just flabbergasted. And there was just absolutely covered in snow. First year, I will say that I am glad that I have snow tires. Yeah, and that I got my car fixed. That was a big. In last year, at the end of the year last year, I had to take my car in to get alignment, shocks, and other stuff. And I'm glad I did, because it would have just been terrible to try to go through this. So, that being said, so what I'm doing today to just kind of calm myself down, because I don't feel like recording today. I just don't. But what I've done is I sat down and I made a feature list of the 4 of these four devices. Yes, I know the Model 24 is back there. I needed to look at the back of the 2488 and the 788 more, because trying to find the manuals especially the 2488, only shows the top of the machine. It does not show the back panel, what's there. And so I wanted to have that so I could look at it and say, okay, what's here? What am I missing? So I wanted to put this together. Now this is the start of a feature list. It's not the full feature list. What I will probably end up doing is I will probably end up making it a PDF, making it available on my website for everybody to look at and say, oh, wow. And then, and they can say, yeah, well, you need to add this too. Because I know there are features on these machines, like on the 788 and the 2488, that do not exist on the DP32 or the Model 24, such as the ability to set the fader where you want it, and then it will remember it. I haven't gotten into that. That's something I'm going to get into more once I have time with them. So that being said, let's just go look at my list. So here's my list. So I've broken it down into different parts. I've only gotten up to other inputs and outputs at the moment. So this is as big as it is. So yeah, it's not a complete feature list. So what I've done is I put in, okay, so when were they released? So the 788 was released in 2001, the 2488 2004. The DP32SD was released in 2015. I can't remember I have to look up when the DP32 was originally released. I think it was 2011. I have to check. And then the Model 24 came out in 2019. I actually downloaded a bunch more of those brochures, and I was going through all of them because I was just curious about stuff. So, so that I put that in there. Next is tracks. So I split them up to mono stereo and then general MIDI. Now general MIDI only counts on the 2488 because it actually has a track called TG, which is the general MIDI, whatever way you want to say it. I don't care. So you have you have your mono tracks on the 788. You have 6 mono tracks. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. So then on 24.8, 12, 8, and then 12. The DP24 has 12 as well, and then the other ones are mono. So, and the same, so 78 has 1 stereo track, which is 7 and 8. So yeah, this was the start. I don't know. I have to look at I think it's a 564. I have to see if I can find it. I think I have a manual on it. I'll have to look. But I think the 564 is actually a true 4-track, not a 2-track and then a stereo track. I have to look. It's another one of those because I know that there's a lot of the Tascam, the handheld models, the 4-track handheld models, are a stereo 4-track. Like the second part. So you have 1, 2 mono, 3, 4 stereo. So they're 3 and 4 are merged as a stereo track. I'm not saying all of them do. I know that the one I looked at does. So, but we're not gonna rub that because that's not part of this whole thing. And there is the stereo tracks. You got 1 on the 788, 6 on the 2488, 12, and I put an indicator there to say, yeah, it's 12, but you can change it to mono tracks. So you can have either 12 stereo or 12 mono tracks. I personally like switching it to mono when it's a mono track, and that's mainly because if you're recording it, even if you're recording stereo or if you're recording a mono track onto it, like you're using just 1 input, it looks at it as being 2, so then you can't use as many inputs. That's why I do it. So, and then 4 on the Model 24. And yeah, so that's the funny part is the 4 on the Model 24, they can be, since they have 1 XLR input, if you're only using it as a stereo, you're using the stereo inputs, the TRS inputs, then it's stereo. If you're using it as the XLR, it's a mono, even though it's recording on both tracks. So yeah, that's a gray area. I gotta work out how I'm gonna put that in here. Then general MIDI tracks. So 788 has none, even though it has MIDI outputs. The 2480 has 1, which is nice. I wish they'd actually bring that back because it's kind of cool. And then DP32 and Model 24 don't have that. XLRs. The 788 does not have XLRs. But what I did learn after looking at the manual is the 788 came with 4 TRS to XLR cables for like cable adapters for you, so that you could have that in there. I didn't. Well, of course, because I bought it used, I didn't get that, so I don't have it. But it says there that it came with them. If somebody actually did buy, if somebody could clarify for me if the 788 did come with that would be great. I do not know. That's what was in the manual. Whether it's true or not, unless I look somewhere else and it says, oh no, you had to buy them separately. So I do not know. So, and then on the 2488 you have 4, which they are actually technically the start of the combo, the XLR TRS thing. So I guess I could, maybe I'll just do that. I'll just do star here. Oh no, no, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. No, they are 4 because there's 4 TRS. No, there's 4 XLR, but yeah, they are combo. What's wrong with me? Let's do that. Okay, there. So yes, so they are a combo, and then yeah, so the Tascam, the DP32 has 8, and they are the combo, the XLR TRS, and then you have 16 on the Model 24. So that's the way they come. So I added a chevron, an up arrow here to say the TRS. So we're looking at TRS now, which is tip ring sleeve, which actually I'm going to put here because I think they're all balanced anyways. F2, whoops, yeah, let me just, sorry about that. Yeah, you're looking at my ceiling because I switched cameras. Sorry about that. If I hit F2, it automatically switches. Sorry about that. So TRS balanced. So there's 4. I can actually take this off. I can take the chevron off now. And then that's a combo. That's a combo. And I'm just going to delete that because it's not needed anymore. So, yeah. So then, yeah. So this. So yeah. So the 788 has 4 inputs. So I can show you there. So these 4 right here, they're just straight inputs TRS. They're not, no XLRs on this thing, which is weird because the 564 does have XLRs. 2488 has 4 and 4, 4 in the combo, XLR TRS combos, and then 4 just standard balanced TRSs. The DP32 has 8, which are in part of the combo as well. And yeah, and then the Model 24 has 12 that I put as mono because, let me fix that too. Because they are mono. They just like, you have your XLRs and you have your monos underneath, and then you have 4 stereo where you just have the XLRs on top. So yeah, meaty in out. So the 788 has the DIN, the old DIN switch, or not DIN plug for in and out, in and out, in and out, la 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 la. And same with the 2488. The DP32 has nothing, and the Model 24 has nothing. I could put USB because I do know that it does have MIDI sync, but I don't know. I've never actually played with that. Then we have returns. So returns are an actual return input. So the 788 has an unbalanced return, meaning that when you do something through the effects send, it can come through the return, and it is its own separate area. It's not getting recorded onto a track. It's its own separate area. The 2488 does not have that. It has the sends, but not the returns. The DP32 does not offer that either, and neither does the Model 24. The 2400, I think, does offer that now. They brought that back. Digital. Now, what is digital? Let me show you here. So I grabbed the 788 because it's lighter. Digital is this little orange button here, this little orange RCA port. And what it is it's at one point they were selling digital output and digital input, and it would just be a straight digital signal going out of the system. And I think you see it more on higher end CD players, on higher end equipment. I think my old stereo amplifier my old stereo receiver had a digital input on it. It was later on replaced by the fiber optic cable that I think our new TV actually has a fiber optic, and so it's a light source. It's the same concept, only by light, and it's a fiber optic cable, and that's how our speaker works, is through that fiber optic cable. So it is just an extra. It's an extra feature. The 2488 actually has a digital input and a digital output, whereas the 788 has the digital output. So you could bring in digital signal into your 2488. I have no way of playing with this because I don't have that setup. I'm trying to see if I can find something, maybe something to plug into my computer that'll do it. I don't have that, so I can't technically show you yet. And then the RCAs. When I put RCA, that would be the analog RCA connection. So I should actually put digital RCA here. So let's put digital RCA, and then RCA meaning just regular RCA analog. And then so there are no inputs on these ones. Ironically, the Model 24 does have the RCA inputs on the final channel. I should put that in here as well. So let's see, stereo, and I think that's channel, was it 2122? Yeah, 2122. So, and same with this one here. So I'm just gonna copy. It's both the same on these two. So there we go. So, and then yeah, so Bluetooth, same thing. Bluetooth is only on channel 2122 on the Model 24. And I put 1/8 inch input because it does have the headphone input for if you have an old phone or if you have some way of doing that. So that's all on that one. Yeah, so that's the inputs. Output wise, RCA. I should put digital RCA on here too because that's what it is. RCA. I like to keep it as clear as possible. So RCA meaning analog. Yeah, so on the 788 it has outputs for the stereo and the monitor. So if you get an old 788, you're gonna have to you can't use 1/4 inch for output. You're gonna have to get an adapter of some sort, or you're gonna have to, like my Fostex here will do RCA as well as stereo. So or 1/4 inch. I mean, they'll do both. So I do have that option. I'm not worried about it. I ran the 788 into my mixer that goes into my computer, which also goes out the speakers. So there's many ways I can do this. So that's that. Digital RCA, yes. So output wise, so the digital RCA is stereo. So I just marked it as stereo on both of these because yes, the 788 and the 2488 both have stereo digital RCAs, and the DP32 and the Model 24 do not, because they kind of they never really caught on that much. Just like I don't think the fiber optic has caught on as much. It caught on more, but it didn't catch on as much it caught on more than the RCA, but it didn't catch on as much as I guess they had hoped, because you don't really see it around as much anymore. What did I do here? Oh, I didn't fill it in. That's why. So XLRs, outputs, none of these have XLR outputs. So just do that. And then the Model 24 has it for the main. So you have your main there. Inserts, none. I put internal because it is internal. When you're on the input mixer or the input effects, the dynamic effects, that would be considered an insert. So I put that as internal on both of these. I'm going to put this as question mark for now. None, because I haven't investigated enough on the 788 to know. So internal, and then channels 1 and 2 on the on the Model 24, they have actual physical inserts. So it would technically, I could put none here because it's not internal. Technically the compressor on the 2488, even though it's a dial, it is technically an insert. But yeah, I'll fiddle with this. So USB, and I put a Trista because USB can send sounds. So it's not acting as a hard drive or a file transfer. It's acting as an actual, I'm sending sounds to the computer. So that's why there's none, and then stereo or channel, because you can go in and you can change the settings. It's programmable or it's settings the way you want it. So if you want to use it on a DAW, you would put it as channel. If you want to use it for just using for playing through, you put it on stereo. Mine is set to stereo because I generally don't use a DAW. So that being said, storage. Now this is where I didn't bother putting a USB section and say yes, hard drive. I'm more or less saying what type of USB port it is. The 788 has none, which is sad. Um, it would be nice if it had something like that, but it doesn't. So, yeah, we'll never mind. I'm not going to get into that too much. The 2488 has a Type A, which is the square, and so does Model 24. Those two are both Type A's, which is great for me because then I don't have to have like 3 different USB cables floating around here. And there's a mini, and then the DP32 has a mini B type. So yeah, so that's nice too. But yeah, like it's nice. I don't have to have a whole bunch of different cables floating around. I have two that I have plugged into the back, and then depending on what I have sitting in front of me, I just switch it. SD cards, the 2488 and the 788 do not have SD slots. And then I put internal on the DP32 and Model 24 because both of them are internal SD cards. So, well, technically not internal, but yes, they have the ability to use it. Maybe I should change that then. So, I'm going to put max 32 gig. Okay, and then I think this one I'm going to have to check, but I think you can have a 256 gig. You might have a higher one. I have no idea. I don't know how big they go yet. So I just put max 256 gig on that one and put a question mark because I'm not 100% sure. So, CD player. So CD, 788 external, very costly. It's like I said, I only found one, and it's $350. So I'm not even going to entertain the thought of getting one. The 2488 internal. So from 2001 to 2004, Tascam went, oh, you know what? Maybe we should just put it internally, and then it's there. Because I bet you they did get a lot of backlash for the fact that they did not have a decent way of exporting the files. And I can't really blame people for that. And they fixed both because they have a USB and a CD, which is great. The DP32 does not have a CD player. It doesn't technically need it. I know people wish it was there, but it doesn't. And see, when I wrote this, I also put SD. I made sure to put SD because the other one does have one. If I had one of those, I'd have that on the list too. And then the Model 24 does not have a CD player either, which once again, for me, is not a big deal. For some others, it is a big deal. So then hard drive wise, you have an internal one on the 788 and the 2488. So that makes them still usable today. And then you don't have them on the DP32 and the Model 24. So yeah. And then I looked at other inputs because it was kind of funny when I looked at it. So yeah, I have here foot switch. So each of them has the ability to have a foot switch. But what does it do? Well, in the case of the 788, it has a punch out foot switch, or punch in, punch out. Same with the 2488. Our friend the DP32 has the 1/16 inch. Yes, it's smaller than a 1/8. And I put a 3 switch, and I put programmable because you can change the settings. So you can go through and you can say, I want this button to do this button to do this, and this button to do that. And same with the Model 24. I wish the Model 24 had the ability to just have a foot switch that said record, because then I wouldn't have to pull it over there. But that's another story. And then I have a punch in, and then I would use the punch in, punch out system on the Model 24. Yeah, so that it doesn't have that. Expression input. I gotta try this. I have to try this. So the 2488 has a 1/4 inch slot for an expression pedal, and I have an expression pedal. So I'm going to play with this. I'm going to try this. I'm gonna see how it works. Maybe I'll do a short with me just playing on the 2488 with an expression pedal. Yeah, so the other ones do not. So that they do not. Headphone. Okay, they all have 1/4 inch headphone stereo. Yeah, that's just standard. That seems to be a standard size for Tascam. I personally like the 1/4 inch size better than the 1/8 inch size. Um, Mainly because it's harder to break a 1/4 inch plug than it is to break an 1/8 inch plug. It's really easy to break a 32 or 16 inch plug. And then so guitar instrument. This I put here because because the 788 has the switch to do, and then this one is 1/4 inch. So I should change this because it is a 1/4 inch unbalanced, and it is in the front. So I'm just going to put that in there because it is in the front. So it actually has a plug in the front just for guitar. So that's kind of neat. And it's input H, but that's neither here nor there. So it does have one, but it has it that way. Then they went back with the 32, back to the switch, which has a mic guitar switch on it as well, and it has a little light that says guitar, so you know that you have it turned on for guitar. And then on the Model 24, they have the instrument button, the INST button. So that I put as buttons, and then I put the 2 channels on there. Power wise, so this is the last one I got in here so far. Power wise, the 788 has a monster external adapter. Like if you've ever seen the old Commodore 64, Commodore VIC-20, Apple IIe, I think had them. The original Apples, like we're talking like a brick. You know, it's a brick. Adapter. It's huge, and it's not as nice as the DP32s, which is nice and just a little brick this big. This thing's like a flippin' huge. The 2488 has an internal power, but it has a 3-pin regular computer. Well, it's regular amplifier plug, 3-pin amplifier plug. I don't have the technical term. Maybe I'll look it up and put it on here. And then once again, the DP32 has an external adapter, but it's much smaller. And then we went back to the 3-pin. So I went back to the sort of 3-pin with a power switch. So that's as far as I am on this so far. I just wanted to give you an idea where I'm at with things, and I will go back to recording on the 3 systems maybe tomorrow, depending on how I feel. I still have to do the bounce of the extra guitars, but I will do that, and then I'll move on from there. So if you watch this through and through, we're at 30 minutes almost. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.